sitting here like, dang. I'm like, everybody been shooting up the club and something sticking. When something gonna stick over here? Whether he ordained it or allowed it, it was for a purpose that will work out for my good at some point. I don't need to know when. I don't need to know how. I don't need to know why. Call me mean if you want to, but if I don't mean it, I ain't doing it. I don't need to talk about it, but then you're crashing behind closed doors. Then you're drinking more than you were before. But that doesn't change the fact that God is good. I'm not gonna cry this video. I stand 10 toes down behind Mr. Black. And it's okay to grieve. You grieving is not a testament to your faith at all. What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Haley, and welcome back to my channel. That's an insane statement, if you ask me, because I really got a YouTube channel. And this is episode 2. I'm so happy about this. Okay, for starters, I want to say thank you so much to all the women who have reached out. The overwhelming amount of support that I've gotten from that first video of women who feel like their voice has never been heard. They've never had the opportunity to really discuss how much a loss, especially when it comes to fertility, when it comes to struggles with endometriosis, when it comes to miscarriages, etc. Like, those things are hard things to go through, but to also go through them and feel like you can't talk about them is such an isolating and lonely feeling. And I am so grateful for the women who have reached out. And I'm just grateful for the opportunity to create a space where women feel comfortable to be able to tell their stories, to be able to talk about these hard topics. And I hope that this channel just continues to evolve from here to be a place where we can continue to have these hard discussions. I personally don't have a community of people who I can sit down, have a conversation with to relate on this topic, and that's the whole purpose of creating this channel, to have these conversations. So I'm just grateful for it. I'm gonna get better at this, y'all. At some point I'm gonna have a little intro and I'm gonna have a little outro. When that's gonna come, I don't know. Like, be patient with me, okay? We figuring this thing out together at this point. Blemish pass first. So I started out recording a completely different video than this. It was going to be about the things that Money and I think we will do and enforce as parents. Obviously, those things can definitely change once you have kids, because having kids changes your perspective on a lot of things. But after recording that video, I decided I really wanted to talk about one of the questions that I get asked a lot: how I'm living with or moving past the grief of that loss. I didn't really address that too much in my last video, and maybe this could be helpful for somebody. A couple things. Let me put it this way. Number one, I would say, is I know that I have a really, really supportive husband. Like, when I say this man is supportive, he is like the number one person that is always in my corner. Not saying that this wasn't a loss for him too, but he recognizes that the loss is different. Like, the feeling is a little bit different, because not only did we lose a child, but something was taken out of me. I went through something physically, whereas he didn't go through the physical side of things. And I am so grateful that he is able to recognize that, and he is able to just support me in ups and downs, because it's not an everyday thing. Like, I know some people say they experience this every single day. They have heavy hits every single day. That's not my experience. My experience is it hits at the most random times. Some people will assume it's like, oh, when you see a pregnant woman, or oh, if you get invited to a baby shower, somebody announces a pregnancy. Those are the times that it hits me the most. I could be in the middle of cooking chili, and next thing you know, I'm like, boom, sad. Like, it is the times that I least expect it, if I'm gonna be honest with you. But I do get a certain level of peace when it comes to the thought that, regardless if I know the reason why, regardless if I know the purpose behind it, God ordained, whether he ordained it or allowed it, it was for a purpose that will work out for my good at some point. I don't need to know when, I don't need to know how, I don't need to know why. I know I serve a good God regardless. And when I tell you, I have been through some things, okay? I have been through some things, and God has gotten me through so much. And this loss was one of the deepest heartbreaks I have ever experienced in my life. The deepest heartbreak I have ever experienced in my life. But that doesn't change the fact that God is good. That doesn't change the fact that I know that God is good. And because I know that God is good, I am able to move forward just a little bit more, even in those moments where it feels like my heart is being ripped out of my body. I will say this: the thing that I don't think some people realize is grief doesn't change just because you still have faith in God. You're not going to feel the effects of grief just because you know that God is good, and just because you know it's going to work out for your good. And that's a thing that I don't think some people understand, because a lot of the things that I was getting in the comments was, well, everything happens for a reason, you know, just trust God, just trust God. Okay, I'm doing that. That doesn't make me any less sad. That doesn't make me any less sad. And one of the things that made me stop feeling guilty for being sad at one point was making me feel like, do I not have faith in God because I'm sad? Huh? Because I'm grieving the loss of my child? Like, does that mean I don't have faith in God? I'm confused. Like, I never, and I'm not saying that the women who go through the, like, why God or is upset or angry with God because of these situations, I'm not saying that they are bad people. I'm just saying that wasn't my experience. And that said, but people made it seem like because I was sad, I just needed to have more faith. And I'm like, that's insane. But then I not remembered, but then somebody pointed out, and I saw this on TikTok or something, where a woman was like, Jesus was still saddened when Lazarus died, even though he knew he was going to be raised from the dead. And I'm like, you know what? I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about the grief. And I'm like, let me go back to my Bible. Let me go back to that point, because he knew that Lazarus was going to rise again, yet he's still upset. He's still hurt. He's still grieved. And even in that, if God can grieve knowing the Son of Man in the form of Jesus can grieve knowing that this man is about to be raised from the dead, I can definitely grieve over my son. Okay, like, I say son, daughter, whomever. I didn't know the gender at the time. But all that said, I'm like, I can grieve too, and it's okay to grieve. You grieving is not a testament to your faith at all. You being able to not, I don't need to talk about it, but then you're crashing behind closed doors, then you're drinking more than you were before, then you're isolating yourself, you're not getting up, going to work, you're calling out, like, come on now. You're not getting a trophy for not showing that you're hurt. And I'm not about to be that person. So I was just sitting here like, looking at people kind of crazy every time. They're like, oh, well, just trust God, he has a reason for everything. Okay, baby, I know that part. That doesn't change how I feel. Can we come up with a new narrative? Can we come up with something new? Like, daggone. But I will say, I mentioned in the last video that I do think God prepared my heart for this. I really, truly do. Over the weekend, from that Friday through that weekend, even that Monday, while at the same time I'm wrapping my head around motherhood and excited about it, I was also recognizing, like, there is something wrong. And I truly do believe that God prepared me for that reality. And I'm grateful for that. Only because I think the crash out could have been a real crash out. Like, it could have been serious. And I really think he saved me from that. But I also think that he blessed me with a wonderful community. Because when that happened, another large contributing factor of me not losing my ever-loving mind was my bonus mom drove from Georgia, like, the next day. Oh, well, she's a physical therapist, so she had patients that day. Then I feel bad because my bonus mom and my mom all found out that I was pregnant. Like, everybody found out that I was pregnant when I was being rolled back to surgery, because Money started making phone calls. That's when everybody found out. And that's a horrible way to find out. That was not the intention whatsoever. But she got in her car, came to Georgia, and was there when I woke up the next morning. And she stayed at my house from that Wednesday to that Saturday. My mom called out of work. She stayed home. Money was there. Money's grandmother was there. I had a lot of support, even though emotionally it was still lonely, because the whole time that they were there, I am making jokes, you know, trying to make light of the situation, not trying to complain, because I'm also somebody that has been told often in life that I'm a drama queen. I've been told numerous of times that I make things a bigger deal than what they are. So because of that, a part of me felt like I couldn't share that grief in general, because I'm just being dramatic, especially after, like, so many people point out the statistics of, well, this many women will experience a miscarriage and this many women will experience an ectopic pregnancy, which is so insane to me, when the ectopic pregnancy in general is a 1 to 2% chance. But when you look at the number of women who've experienced it, it makes it seem so much more common than the percentage, like, than the statistic. Come on now. I just felt like emotionally I was alone, but physically I had people there. Like, they were continuously giving encouragement, even though I wasn't really trying to bawl my eyes out and cry. I got most of, like, my cries and wailing out at the hospital, and that night, really. And then those to follow, I was like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm not about to sit here and do all of that. And I kind of held a lot in, but them being there did more for me than I expected, because when they left, it was like, it was a sad moment when they left. They, like, their presence there, the love, the joy, it was encouraging. But I did recognize that I needed to be alone. I recognized that it was time for me to be by myself, to be able to have my feelings hit me, and I needed to be able to process them, and I needed to be able to work through them. And that was one of the hardest things I have ever done. But this is where my husband, when I tell you, like, I'm not gonna cry this video. I'm not gonna cry this video. My husband is an amazing man, and I don't just say that to make it seem like, oh, we just have this picture perfect relationship or whatever the case may be. Like, that man was so encouraging, loving, lifting me up. I mean, praying over me. Like, he was, and still is, and has been a constant, just always pouring in, always loving on me. When I tell you I love that man, I love that man with everything in me. Like, he means the world to me. And during that time where I'm in this depressive episode, I'm not getting out the bed, I'm not brushing my teeth, I'm not washing my butt. Come on, let's get out the bed. I'm gonna run you a bath. Come on, let's do, like, the entire time. He never made me feel like I was crazy for being sad. He never made me feel like, okay, it's time to get it back together. Like, he, by getting me up, taking me to the shower, doing all those things, obviously making sure I'm being taken care of, but not, okay, Haley, I get that you're sad, but you need to get up and take a shower. Okay, Haley, I get that you're sad, but it's time to brush your teeth. Okay, Haley, I get that you're sad, but your hair is going to mat up if you keep it like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was, I get that you're not in a place to care about this, but because I care about you, I'm going to do this. You don't have to think about it. Like, all right, I already have your bath running. You can sit down in the tub. Or I already, like, you know what I'm saying? It's just stuff like that. It made such a difference. And it breaks my heart to know now that so many women that I know had, like, losses, whether it be miscarriages, stillborns, ectopic pregnancies, and their husbands just went back to normal. They just went back to work. They didn't think about, let me support you, let me pour into you. Like, you're sad, okay, she needs to be sad by herself. That broke my heart. It broke my heart to hear those stories, because I truly think that I would have lost my mind. If my husband had not been there to hold it together, I don't think that I would have been able to get through this. I would, low-key, we probably wouldn't even be together right now. Like, if I'm being honest with you, I would probably be at my mama's place. Like, I don't know. I could not imagine. I genuinely could not imagine doing this and going through something like this without him. And they say in marriage, like, after you get married, your love grows deeper. And I never understood, like, what do you mean by your love grows deeper? I get that now. The love that I have for that man is so different from the day I said I do, so different from the first time we said I love you. When I tell you, going through this struggle with this man, something so deep and painful, it showed me who he was on a different level. And when I say that made me love that man even more, I stand 10 toes down behind Mr. Black. I did before, but now it's 20 toes. Like, when I tell you I love that man, do not let TikTok fool you. It's a little jokey joke. It's a little hee hee ha ha moment. I love that man. I'm not talking to that man at the side of my neck. When I say I love that man, I love that man. I love that man. Okay? I will sing it from the rooftops. Ain't no way. I would not let a demon in hell come between me and this man. I mean that. First of all, I serve too good of a God. I serve too good of a God. Hallelujah. But no, I'm so serious. Like, I'm so serious. God bless me with that man. God bless me with that man. I said I wasn't gonna cry this one. Now, I will say this. One thing that is a little bit annoying to me, and I know it comes from a good place. This is switching subjects completely. I know it's coming from a good place. Is when people, like, don't want to invite you to baby showers. Don't want to invite you to gender reveals. don't want to talk about their pregnancy with you because of your loss. I find that so annoying because I'm not mad at you. I'm not upset. I'm not about to spiral. I'm so thankful that God has blessed you with a bundle of joy in your womb, and I am grateful for this opportunity for you. And my prayer is it is everything that you want it to be. I promise you that. And while I can say, and I do recognize that some women are affected by seeing those things because they think about, you get your baby, but I don't. That's not how I see it. Okay, for me personally, everybody's walk is different, but for me personally, it hits at random times. And I didn't even, like, I'll say this, now that I am trying to get pregnant and actively like going through the process, because that last time was a little peekaboo, I see you, that was surprise, you know what I'm saying? But now that I'm actively trying to get pregnant, I can say it is a little annoying that everybody and their mama is pregnant. Like a pregnancy announcement every other day. Every other day, it's a new person pregnant. I'm sitting here like, dang, is it really that easy? Like, come on, I'm not pregnant. But the loss never affected me and my ability to be grateful that you are pregnant, to celebrate you to any degree. When I say any degree, I mean any degree. I never felt any type of way, and no, like I've never felt any type of way about it. And this is not to say that women who have are bad for feeling some type of way, because you can't control your emotions. You can only control your actions. And as long as you don't act out on it, it's okay. But I've never felt any type of way about it. I just simply started, when people started doing pregnancy announcements recently, now that I know I'm actively trying, I'm sitting here like, dang. I'm like, everybody been shooting up the club and something sticking. When something gonna stick over here? Now, granted, we haven't been trying for long. We haven't been trying for long. Like, we didn't immediately go into, okay, we lost a baby, now let's have another baby. That was not the case at all. Like, we recently sat down, had this conversation. Okay, this is the game plan, this is what we're doing. And ever since that conversation, it's like, dang, everybody having a baby. I'm sitting here like, okay. But I know if I get pregnant within this span, there's a lot of little people that my little kid was gonna be able to be friends with. You know what I'm saying? But that's besides the point. So I said all that to say, it is kind of annoying when people try to like tiptoe around your feelings, and I know it's coming from a good place. But for me, it's more so annoying because it's like I want to be a part of those moments too. We're friends. I want to be able to enjoy these happy times with you, to take these beautiful photos with you with your baby bump and all of those things. Like, I want to celebrate you and I want to celebrate life. I was this person prior to ever being pregnant. I love that. Let's do all the things. I'm the person like, what you want most off your registry? I like to be that friend and help out. Do you need help with your nursery? Girl, let me help you do that. You need help with organization? I got you. Say less. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it is a little bit annoying when people are just like, no, because I know that she lost a baby and I don't want to. And I'm like, girl, I am fine. And I mean that. And if I wasn't fine, I wouldn't say that I was. Because one thing about me, I'm not about to cap about it. Because if I don't want to hear about it, I'm going to tell you I don't want to hear about it. If I don't want to do it, I'm going to tell you not to ask. And I do not give empty gestures. I am not that person like, if you ever need anything, call me. No, because the very person that you tell it to that you don't want calling you will take you up on that offer and call you. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I don't like that, okay? Call me mean if you want to. But if I don't mean it, I ain't doing it. Anywho, that's all I got for today's episode. The next episode, so number 3, will be over the topics that me and Money think that we'll do as parents, and prayerfully we'll have some new prenatals by then to try out. I have been implementing some new things, so I'm going to continue to incorporate what I'm doing to actively become a little bit more fertile. Like, working out is one of the biggest things. I know I have a series on TikTok right now talking about Slimmer by December, but the reason why I started working out was because my surgeon basically told me that one of the best ways to help with getting pregnant again is to lose some of the weight, because based on my height, I am obese. I am an obese individual and I need to get my weight down. So that is why I have been going to the gym more than anything. That may be something that I share on here as well, just that journey and what that looks like. But until next time, it's your girl Haley from Beefing with the Blacks. Thank you for joining me on Mrs. Black's Diaries, and I'm gonna holla at you later.